We were right. We were right this whole time. It is finally here. It has finally come to pass. The age-old question of our time. Was the Rings of Power series any good? Now, before I answer, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going live 30 minutes early because I just got back home and I have to like process some of this stuff and just get it out onto paper. And so I just have to get it out of my head and talk through some of this stuff before I forget. So, I just gotta like talk through some of this, like I said. Okay, so first things first, I know I'm early, so thank you guys for hanging in there with me. And I know it's late too, like East Coast, I think it's already past midnight. So thank you guys for being here with me. We've got Marcos in the chat. Hello. Here, let's bring up chat here. We've got Miss Martin Muses, Salty Texas, and Rudy. Hey guys, so good to see you here. Thank you for hanging out. So yeah, I know it's gonna be a small group tonight, but I'm just gonna talk through some of this stuff. Hopefully people can watch it tomorrow on the replay, but let's just get right into it. Initial thoughts, initial reactions. Here we go. Hey, look at that. For $1.49 from Salty Texas C, a red box of popcorn. Thank you, sir. I should have gotten some popcorn, which is funny enough, because if you guys didn't know, this ticket, if you were able to redeem it, you were able to get a $10 voucher at the concessions. So, Jay the Deep Minded, hello, great to see you here. And Ben Cordwell, what's going on, guys? But yeah, so you had to, Amazon had to bribe you with a $10 voucher of popcorn. Crazy. Okay, first thoughts, initial reactions. There are parts I liked, but for the most part, it is convoluted. It is jarring. It is generic fantasy, like we said. Nothing about this seemed, to me, to speak into existence Tolkien and his works. That's why I said we were right the whole time. Now, with that being said, why? I have to back up my reasons of why, because I don't want to just sit here and bash this piece of crap. But the first episode, it is so jarring. And what I mean by jarring is like, it's quick cut after quick cut after quick cut. Here's Galadriel, here's Arondir, here's Bronwyn, here's, whoever. Elrond. And it's so quick, you never get to sit with the characters and like be with them to like understand like what's going on. Rudy, for when it comes to super chats, if you go to the StreamYards page, you can donate there, brother. So I greatly appreciate it if you want to do that. Yes, exactly, Salty. Shocking convolution, that is a shame. Great being right, sucks being right. You're right, Brandon. It sucks being right. It really does. But we were right. So, first episode, you're introduced to almost all the characters, and it's fast. To me, it felt fast-paced in a jarring way. Not in a boring, like, oh, this is just like going on forever, and it's just like quick cut after quick cut. It is quick cuts, but it's just, it's like, okay, we have to get to the next thing, and I couldn't enjoy like being with someone, right? Like I couldn't enjoy someone coming onto screen and being like, oh, hey, it's Elrond. And then they'd be like, we got to go to the next thing. Keep going. And I was like, oh, no. Okay, so we open with the little kids running around, and as you guys have seen in the preview, and it's Galadriel and her like elven brothers and sisters and friends and stuff. And Galadriel's on her own, and she's like kind of away from the rest of the kids, and she's making this little origami boat. And no, Lone Star, you're not late. I'm early. So No, I'm early, guys. You guys are not late. I'm early. So, so she's making this little origami boat, and this like boy comes up and he goes, "What are you doing? Like, you're no fun. You're not playing with us." And she goes, she says like some empty platitude or something, and then she like releases the boat onto the water. She goes, "See, I've been working on something so beautiful that you will understand once it comes to pass." And then this beautiful boat goes across the river, and then the boys start picking up rocks, as boys do, and they start throwing it at the ship. And they're like throwing it at, and she's like, "Stop, no, you can't throw it at my ship." And they sink it with one of the rocks. And she's like, "Oh, God." And then Galadriel's brother shows up. And, yeah, thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it. And so then her brother shows up and he's like, "Galadriel, it's been a while," or whatever. And he takes her away from the other boys. But that's our first introduction of like seeing Galadriel. She's like off on her own. The boys are making fun of her. They're sinking her ship. And they talk about, like, the brother starts talking about how, you know, he brings her to this tree area and he's like, "Galadriel, the reason why they throw stones is because stones sink and they always look towards the bottom of things. But you look to the stars, and that's what a ship does. A ship will always look onward and upward and see to the stars." And she starts saying, "Well, how do I know which stars to look at? Which stars are good and which stars are bad?" And you'll find out later in the episode what he eventually says. But she has to choose, well, which ones are good, which are bad. Yes, Gray, it's an absolute triumph. An absolute triumph. So then we, like I said, this is like first 5 minutes. You're cutting. Nick McCabe, what's going on, brother? And then we get the initial scene of Galadriel's brother walking towards this beautiful city, and you see the two trees, and that's the promo image that we got months ago. And it looks like we have a super chat from Rudy for $4.99. Thanks, dude. He says, "Semper Fi, and thank you for the hard work you put into the channel. God bless our military and our first responders. Oorah! Oorah to you, sir." Dude, thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate that. Semper Fi. Yeah, your donations always go back into the show, Rudy, so I appreciate it. And then we get the opening kind of dialogue of where Middle-earth was found, like how Middle-earth was found. Galadriel is narrating the whole thing as they go from Valinor and they sail across to Middle-earth. And then they pass really quick. They go very quickly past Galadriel's brother's death. He is dead, and all of a sudden, she's got the knife now, and she's like, it's just her quest. So we find them in the, and I'm blanking on where they were, but they're in the northern lands, in the ice lands, where we've seen a lot of the previews. If you guys have seen any of the trailers, most of the trailers happen within like the first 5 minutes of the first episode, or 10 minutes of the first episode. But yeah, her brother just dies. I will say there was a really incredible scene, and if they made this the entire show, I might be on board. But there was a beautiful, really cool depiction of one of the battles, and I don't know which one it was. I want to say it was the War of Wrath, because we saw dragons, we saw eagles, we saw orcs and elves, so I'm thinking it was the War of Wrath. But with that being said, I can't say for sure. But that scene, that moment in time that lasted like 5 seconds, I was like, holy shit, that is cool. Like, I am here for that. But once again, they pass right by it. And so I was like, oh man, okay, I don't know why we didn't sit here, but okay. So then they kept passing through. Ben, you joke, but Bronwyn legitimately says in the second episode, "Come with me if you have a heart," or something like that. "Come with me because we need to leave." I swear to you, she says a line that is directly out of like the Terminator franchise. And this is Bronwyn, the female who's like the healer. And her townspeople, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but her townspeople like don't believe her, and they don't believe Arondir, and that's kind of the whole theme of the whole show, right? No one believes Galadriel. No one believes. I know, Rachel, I did start early. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I got home early, and so I just had to start talking about it. But yeah, like no one believes Galadriel. No one believes Bronwyn. No one believes Arondir. Everyone is super skeptical of all these figures because we have to promote them and make them positive in some way by like making all these other people into like dumb idiots. The powerhouse Lord of the Dragon Rings Park show. 70s rock fan. It was what we expected. It was not Tolkien whatsoever. No, Rachel, it wasn't great. It was infuriating. It was very, very frustrating. I know, and like it's funny because we joke about this stuff a lot of the times, but a lot of the things that I was seeing in the show, I was like, didn't we joke about that? And sure enough, it would happen, and then I'd be like, wow, this is unbelievable that they're actually doing this. So Galadriel she has one emotion, and it's angry. Arondir has one emotion, and it's plank. Like Arondir is the most plank character in the show, and Galadriel is the most angry. She does this look throughout the entire show of like she'll like look away, and then she'll be like her eyes will get really big, and she'll do this like angry like glare. Like, especially when Elrond is ever talking to her, he'll be like, put up your sword, Galadriel. You have fought long enough. Go to the undying lands and be with our people. Go home. Your king has blessed you with a gift. And she'll like do this kind of look, and I'm like, fuck off. Ugh, it's like, it's very frustrating, her character, to watch. Positives. And like I said, I know I'm kind of all over the place, guys. I apologize, but this is just stream of consciousness right now. This is just getting things out as I think of them. Positives, Khazad-dûm was fucking incredible. Khazad-dûm was gorgeous. The music of Khazad-dûm, the soundtrack to Khazad-dûm, was very reminiscent of what you would hear in the halls of Durin's hall. You know, like. That's what I would expect. The costuming for the dwarves and I think the makeup for the dwarves is really good. I would like a show of just Khazad-dûm. But when they first arrive to Khazad-dûm, they are greeted by dwarves that are not men playing dwarves, and they don't have like the CGI dwarves. They've actually hired people who are, may I say, what's the politically correct term? Is it little people? So in that armor, you can tell that it's not, like they don't, they can't move within the armor that they're given. And so like they kind of do this. They kind of dun, 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 instead of walking just in a straight line and like, you know, in unison, like in a rank and file of like a battle, they kind of just It's really, for me, it was really aggravating, and I was like, just you're an army, you walk on a line, and they were all like waddling is the correct term I'm looking for, but I've heard instances of that where YouTubers make fun of something and then it eventually, yeah. No, it is very interesting how the things that we made fun of are like some of the things that have showed up in the show. People of short stature. Yes, that 70s rock fan, exactly. Sam and Nick. Hey, we got the two brothers in here. Yeah, so Galadriel has, it's almost like, it's not resting bitch face. It is legit like angry, I'm going to kill you. It is this like, you know, like her nostrils flare and her eyes get all big and it's like, fuck off. Like it's very aggressive. Like, instead of having this soft, like, manner about her and this, like, quiet confidence, it's like arrogance and just this, it's very off-putting. I couldn't stand it the entire time. Nerdporial, no, dude, it's Marvel humor. The Harfoots were not funny. I'm sorry. I highly disagree with you there. I'm sorry. Yeah, they went very Snow White and the Seven Dwarves with the Khazad-dûm. But yes. Oh, real quick before I forget too, I sat next to the most obnoxious person I possibly could have even dreamed of, and of course it would be me, the guy who's super skeptical about this and very biased. It's like, it's like, yeah, of course it would happen to me. But the guy next to me, to my left, was this, it was like this young kid and his friend. They were probably like in their early 20s. And everything that happened, I fucking kid you not, he'd go, whoa. Or he'd be, he'd be like, yeah. And I just heard this like these little things next to me. And I was like, kill me right now. Like even things that like wouldn't even happen on screen, like the title would come up and it was just like the Rings of Power for the first episode, and he'd be like, hoo, 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 hoo. And I'm like, what are you excited about? What are you even excited? It's just the title of fucking screen. Stop. You're manufacturing your excitement. Like, chill, dude. Chill out. There were some like scenes where we do see Sauron in his full armor and like he's in Morgoth's lair in the first episode. Spoilers. You guys will see this tomorrow or Friday. And yeah, like like Sauron would come in and he'd be like, oh man, oh dude, and he'd like be like nudging his buddies like, oh, it's Sauron. It's like it's the theme, or it's that clip of the dude who's like, whoa, dude, Pride Rock. If you guys have ever seen that. Yes, no, 70s. That's what I was wondering. I was like, have you guys just never been in a theater before? And then the couple to my right, to the other side of me, was very elderly. And so they would like comment on things throughout the entire show. So like you see the hunters with the moose antlers that are that were walking by, and she goes, "Oh, moose antlers!" Like just full out, didn't even like wasn't even whisper like, "Oh, those look like moose antlers." She's like, "Oh, moose antlers! Wow!" And then there's the other scene where you see the sea monster going through the worm, as they call him, the worm going through like the ocean, like through Galadriel. And they'd be like, oh, a sea monster. And I was like, fuck me. Why am I sitting here? This is, come on. Oh, Rachel, for $15. You did not have to do that, Rachel. Thank you so much. She says, thanks for your sacrifice. Hey, always. Review. Go get some bleach for your eyes. I'm going to drink some bleach tonight, Rachel, but thank you for that 15. Wow. That seriously, truly, it means a lot. I appreciate it. Maybe I can buy some of my time back. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to sound emotional, but I haven't seen Max in so long that my hormones are imbalanced. Ooh, Nosferatu. Don't get me started. Yes, Jay, I'm wondering if that is... I'm wondering if that is the demographic that they were looking for. Like the younger audience is just going to be like, whoa, or the older audience is going to be like, oh, look, it's a sea monster. But either way, it was insufferable. I would have turned, rocked, and smacked them metaphorically, of course. 70s, I would have liked to see that, brother. But yes, so that was my experience being next to these two the whole time. Well, I was sitting here literally like this, just with my either my hands crossed like this or my hands in front of my face like this, just like waiting for the next thing. I wasn't able to take a lot of notes because I didn't want to be that guy with the phone out, but once we're introduced to the world they give us that introduction. We see Galadriel and her brother. They've talked to us. They've given us the moralistic values that they want across the show. And then we get into, they've been searching for Sauron for centuries, and they've now found his stronghold, or what they to believe is their stronghold. And Rudy, yeah, I'm sorry, brother. I will have to go on and see if I can get that wrench for you. I can't do it now. I want to try and I don't want to make this stream too long, so maybe on the I'll try and do that afterwards. They are at like Morgoth's or Sauron's stronghold, or what they believe to be the stronghold. And Galadriel and her elven brothers and sisters, like the warriors, are this search party is with them in the north. And one of the elves comes up to him, one of the elves comes up to her, and he goes, "Galadriel, we have been traveling for days on end. We need to rest. The enemy is not here, and if he is here, he is dead. So we have to set up camp here, and we have to return home tomorrow. It has been centuries since we have been asked to be home." Like, because their orders were to go out and come back, but they've been out for like centuries longer than expected. And so so she just gives him that look again, that like evil, just like, ugh, peasant type of look. And she's like, "We are not going anywhere. We charge forward." And he's like, he rolls his eyes and he's like, "Fuck, whatever." So they continue on forward, and they get caught in the storm, and they realize that once they are caught in the storm, they realize why, and that's because they are in the stronghold of this like defense. Like, they see that they are in this castle of where Sauron or Morgoth was at. So they are starting to walk through the castle, and Galadriel just looks over to her side like she's got some fucking ancient premonition, and she sees this ice sculpture on the wall, or this regular wall that's cut off by ice, and she bangs on the ice and goes, "This is a door, break it down," or something like that. And they break the ice door for her. And I was like, how the fuck did she know that ice door was there? And sure enough, it enters this like great cavernous hall where they were experimenting with like dark magic and stuff. And that's where we find the sigil of Sauron. And it's that like kind of three-pronged looking trident thing. So they go into there, and one of the elves is like, what have they been doing this whole time? And she goes, "They've been playing with dark magic." Like, she knows every answer to every question. She knows where they are, how they got there, what the orcs and Sauron were doing while they were there. And then she watches a snow droplet fall onto like a casket, and she goes, give me your water." And she like pours the water on it, and she goes, "See, look, it's Sauron's vigil, or his sigil." And I was like, bruh, how are you able to see all of this? It's incredible. So she continues to be Mary Sue, because then they run into a cave troll, or an ice troll, excuse me. The ice troll immediately fucking takes out like 6 people. He throws this huge ice thing and takes out like 6 people. And she comes in with one stroke, gets lifted off the other dude's sword. She cuts his head, like cuts his leg, chops his arm, and then like cuts his jaw in half, and he like falls. And she like does a little twirl of her sword and like doesn't look back to see that she's just killed him. And she like turns around. It looks like she's about to say like, "Who's next?" or something like that, but she didn't. Thank God. And so she kills the cave troll in mere seconds. I swear to you, seconds. After like all the elves have been like trying to defeat it, and they're like getting wiped out by like ice sculptures and like big ice rocks and stuff, and she just comes in just like sing 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 sing, and she just like turns around and is like, I did it. It's so fucking ridiculous. So then she goes, "Okay, we have to continue forward." And she's like still wanting to like continue to move. And the elves in her searching party, they go, one of them just holds up his sword, and he goes, "I'm not going a fucking second forward with you, you psycho bitch. I'm not traveling any longer." and they all put down their swords and their bows. Hey, John Kokoza, what's up, dude? Yes, because of reasons, Jay. So they all put down their swords and they're like, we're not going with you anymore. And they finally go home. This all happens in like minutes. I'm telling you, the first episode is quick. You have to be like, you have to keep up because there are just so many changes and so many different things. So then we, let me check my notes here. I already mentioned the epic, really, really cool battle scene between like the eagles and the dragons. That to me, I wish we had more of like first age stuff, because that to me is so much more interesting than second age. So then we see the Harfoots, and I don't know if this is directly after the ice troll, or the snow troll, or whatever they called it. But they go to see the Harfoots, and essentially from the Harfoots, you get these like gypsy, homeless, disgusting travelers. The whole time I just wanted to wash. Like, their costuming is just, let's make them disgusting. It's a choice. I'll call it a choice, because I just don't understand why they made them so disgusting and filthy, and like, it just didn't make sense. Rudy for $19.99. Wow, my friend. Dude, thank you so much. Really, truly. He said, Max, my son is about to be promoted to corporal, and he has always been a fan of Tolkien. He's about to be promoted to corporal in the best service ever. Hoorah! USMC, I could not be prouder of him, and he now follows you. Rudy, thank him for my service. From one Marine to another, I've got the flag in the back to represent my Marine Corps brothers and sisters. Hail to you, hail to your son, and congratulations to him on his promotion to corporal. Some of my very best Marines were corporals. Corporals and sergeants were some of my best Marines I ever served with. So thank you. Tell him from me. I don't know if he watches the streams or not, but if he does, thank you. And congratulations on your promotion. Hail to our good friend Rudy and his son. So, yes, we get to see the Harfoots, and like I said, it is a very odd choice to make them extremely filthy and dirty and just gross. Like I said, it's very gypsy-like and homeless. I don't know why they went with that, because it doesn't like endear you to them. It makes you kind of feel sorry for them in a way. Because you're just like, oh God, like you just want to give them a bath. They completely went with the fucking Frodo and Sam thing. The other female Harfoot with Nori Brandyfoot, I think her name is, but the other female is Sam. She just is Sam. She's a little bit more goofy. She's heavier. She likes to eat more. It is Sam. She is like Samwise, and she is always kind of like the voice of reason. So like whenever Nori is like, you know, hey, we should venture out, or hey, we should, you know, we should talk to this person, or maybe we should think about doing something different. Her friend is always kind of the voice of reason, kind of like Sam is, you know, where he would say things like, you know, maybe we shouldn't venture so far from home, or maybe we shouldn't, you know, we shouldn't be going through this way, Mr. Frodo. We should be going this way. Or, you know, he's trying to dissuade him from Smeagol. So you see that kind of dynamic between the two female Harfoots, and it's just directly from Frodo and Sam. It's beat for beat, word for word, just it's female Frodo and Sam. That's all it is. The Harfoots are extremely boring. I don't recall anything from the Harfoot scenes that I was like, wow, I'd love to see more of this. It is like just so bland, and I just didn't understand like why they held so long on the Harfoot scenes, and like they didn't give us more of Khazad-dûm. That was a huge negative from the start, is like there needs to be more dwarves. There needs to be more Khazad-dûm, but I don't really know how much we are going to see of it, because here's the reason why. Celebrimbor is looking to build a forge. To forge, who knows? Celebrimbor just knows that he wants to build a forge to be able to cast anything in that forge, but to be able to do so, they have to look to the mines and they have to look to the resources of the dwarves. But they don't know how to do that because Fardos, yeah, that's good. But they have to go to the mines of Moria. They have to go to Khazad-dûm to talk to Durin. And because Elrond is a friend of Durin's, they go to specifically Khazad-dûm to go speak with him to see if they would be interested in helping create this forge that could potentially be the strongest forge of all of Middle-earth. Weapons, armor, jewelry, you name it, it would be focused in this forge, which is, foreshadowing into where we're going to create these rings. So while we're in Khazad-dûm, though, I just wanted to stay there. I just wanted to be immersed into Khazad-dûm and to the dwarves and their culture and their songs, and everything just looked so rad. Maybe I'm biased, like I said, because I think that heritage and that realm is so much more interesting than anything we get, because Khazad-dûm is Tolkien, right? Like, Khazad-dûm and the dwarves is directly Tolkien. Harfoots are not. Arondir is not. Halbrand is not. These are characters that I care nothing about, and yet we get so much screen time from them, it's exhausting. I haven't even gotten to Arondir and fucking Bronwyn. Good lord. Salty says Tolkien hated industrialization, the machine. Exactly. Now, I don't think that they are utilizing any type of like machinery or industrialization. If they are, it's from the dwarves, but the dwarves aren't using it like, they can be greedy, of course. Like, we know that they have delved too deep into the mountain, as we have been told by Gandalf, and awoken something dangerous. But I didn't really see it as like industrialization. But yes, Tolkien was very against the technological industrialization of things like cars and tanks and all that, because he saw that on the front of World War I. So what did you think of the feats of strength? I guess the dwarves celebrate Festivus. Nerdporial, I love that episode of Seinfeld, and it was the feats of strength. It was corny, but fuck it, it was fine. Like, it was corny, I get it, but for what it was, I think it was fine. I don't know, it just seemed cheesy. How much of Khazad-dûm do you actually get in the first 2 episodes? Khazad-dûm really was only introduced in the second episode, I would say. And you get glimpses of it, It's like, cut there, and you're like, whoa, this is it. And then it's gone. And you're like, fuck me. Go back to Khazad-dûm. I don't want to see Bronwyn. Go back to Khazad-dûm. So, sexy ass oil baron, or one of the Valar. Maxfield von Priestley, one of the Valar. I hope. One day. That would be pretty cool. So, let me get to Arondir and Bronwyn, because this fucking shit is so on the nose. You're either gonna laugh, you're gonna cringe, or you're gonna throw something, because it's so on the nose. This is a quote that I had to type down onto my phone, because I was like, fuck me, it's so poignant, and it's like, give me some nuance, please. These writers are shoving this shit down your throat. Will you continue to watch the series, Max? Absolutely, Soul. I will continue to watch this series because I want to understand what they're trying to do. Because these first 2 episodes, I have no idea what their theme is. I don't understand what they are trying to portray, or what it is that, like, what message they're trying to get across. It's not grand. it doesn't seem like this grand epic. It seems very small and condensed, and this very kind of manufactured is a good word for it. There's not a lot of heart. There's not a lot of soul. It's very manufactured. Eric K, super chat for $5, my friend, dude. Thank you for being here, man. It's getting late, but he says, LOL, what do you know? It is not like, oh, hold on. It is not like you're surrounded by comic and Tolkien things. Oh, wait, you are. They are all stunning and brave people. Wait, Eric, hold that thought. I have something. You know, no, it's definitely not like I don't have anything Tolkien related or Lord of the Rings related other than, you know, the sword, the blade that was broken, literally Aragorn's sword from the films. No, I don't have any reason to like these movies or Tolkien's things, right? I'm going to put that there and hopefully that doesn't fall. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this on my desk so that it doesn't do anything. Okay, where were we? Eric K, thank you for the 5, brother. That is very kind of you. Salty Texas C, knife ears. Bro, that's not even the worst of it. That's not even the worst. That's what's crazy. It's not even the worst of it. I want to do a watch party. We need to get on Discord and do a watch party. Small and manufactured, just like the Wheel of Time. Yes, Salty. So much yes on that. Here's the quote. You guys ready for this? Is everyone sitting? Do you guys have your popcorn? The fucking showrunners wrote this into the script. Arondir walks into a bar and he has his hood up. And he walks in and he takes his hood down and he's got his bow and his armor on. And it's full of old white men. Just wait. Full of old white men. And there's one like young white dude who's at the table and he's like drinking and he's just like kind of angry and he like looks over. And all the white men start to stare at him. And they start to... You know, they do that number and they're like looking at him and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. And you're just like getting ready for what's, you know, the inevitable, right? So, Arondir walks in and the young guy who's sitting there with his like beer, who like looks over at him and gives him this bad look. He calls him, he says something like, get over it, knife ears. And he throws his beer on the ground and he goes, when will your people, he calls them your people. He says, when are your people ever going to forget the past? And I was like, oh my God, dude, stop. This white drunkard in a bar talking to this black elf, calling him knife ears, and then saying, when are you people going to forget the past? I was like, no, it's so on the nose. It's so terribly written. Oh my God. So yes, it was very frustrating to see that already. It's like already they're just writing this shit like they're trying to be activists. And then that's where you get the quote that we saw in one of the previews or the trailers where Arondir goes, "The past is with us all, whether you like it or not." Whatever. So they call him knife ears. They tell him, when will your people ever forget about the past? And then he says, the past is with us all. So Arondir is oppressed by all these white people. It's great. Zaxx, hello. He says, holy shit, it's Max. Yeah, dude, it's me. I'm on a rant tonight. Garbage self-insertion writing. Absolutely, Roman. That's the thing is like we're gonna get so much more of this shit. Just wait. So then Arondir goes back to his like tower where he's like the keeper of the watch. He's like part of this like army or this like these scouts that are like the keepers of the watch of this area. And they are called back home because they are also told that there is no evil in the land. Everyone is saying that there's no evil in the land, except for Galadriel, Arondir, and Bronwyn all think that there is evil in the land. So everyone else is just stupid and idiotic, and they don't believe that there is evil anywhere, and everything is perfect. So the commander of this like Night's Watch or whatever, he goes, Arondir, we are going home because we are no longer needed in this land. And he goes, but I've always been here. I've always looked over these people. And he goes, it's better that you leave because these people cannot forget the past, and they are just as bad in the present as they were back then, or something like bullshit like that. I was like, fucking Christ, dude, are you really so ignorant and arrogant that you have to write these things into the script where it's just so Eric K doesn't have a wrench? Oh my gosh, what is happening? You know what? I gotta take a moment real quick and do this so that, because that is unacceptable. I can't having my where is he? There we go. I can't have you being naked without. Yeah, Nerdporial isn't that what you got from it though? Like it is kind of like a nice Night's Watch where they're on the wall or something. I don't know, man. That's just kind of like, I don't know. Okay. Yes, Eric, now that you have a wrench, you shouldn't feel oppressed anymore. You should be fine. And then I need to make, there was someone else I forgot to make I definitely need to make Rudy here a mod, and then I gotta make Rachel. Okay, there we go. All right. Give the like button a Warrior Galadriel smash for Max. Oh Lord. Anyway, yeah. So Bronwyn and Arondir find each other. And everyone's worried that, like, oh, they're going to be seen, because they have this, like, this secret relationship, this secret romance. And the whole time, like, I can't take Bronwyn seriously because her lip just is like this the whole time. So she's got the lip injection thing, you know what I mean? So it looks, I feel better, no longer naked. I'm free, no longer oppressed. Good, I'm glad. Rachel wants to know if there's boobs. Yes and no. You have to look for them, because Galadriel's in that water for a while, and like when she's up on the ship, like you can kind of see it a bit, but you have to be looking for it. Plenty of dicks though. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I saw the notification and I needed to see how much of a disaster this is. Hey chat, hey Max. Hello 300 mirrors. Great to see you here. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, but welcome. So Boyadriel, yeah. I don't remember what her brother's name. I know it's in the Silmarillion, and her brother is actually one of the leaders that they go through the Hill Caraxes with. It's like part of Feanor's, group of elves that he travels with. But yeah, Zaxx, I got plenty of boobage of my own. Braun Botox, yes, exactly. So yeah, the lip thing distracted me. I just couldn't take her seriously. It just seemed very modern. It didn't look of that age, of that time, of that like fantasy era. In fact, none of this really did, unfortunately. I was never escaped, I never escaped into the world. The only time I did, like I said, was in Khazad-dûm, and I will stand by that. The only time where I felt like, holy fuck, I'm here, was Khazad-dûm. And even still, there were moments where I was like, it's cheesy. Like I was taken out of it and I went back in. But the first two episodes certainly don't seem to have exceeded the expectations set by the trailers. I'm sure that there's going to be more in this series, but these first two episodes were lackluster for sure. The score, Nerdporial, as far as the score goes, it was well written, I will say that. It does not sound like anything that I would hear from Tolkien. It sounded like generic fantasy track from YouTube. It was lots of like harpsichord and like there was one scene where I was like, am I in The Witcher right now? Because it was super just it sounded like I was in a Renaissance festival. You know, like when you hear that medieval kind of music with you know, I don't know. It just seemed very generic and hollow. And that's kind of my whole review of the entire 2 episodes as of right now that I've seen, was that it was very hollow, very empty, very soulless, didn't have a heart. So what else? What else do we have? Am I missing anyone? Oh, Halbrand. Halbrand is... oh, and Elrond. Oh my god, I am missing a lot of people. You know what? I'll say this. I will say this. The actor of Elrond, I think, and maybe I could be wrong, but I think the actor of Elrond is very good at his job. I think he's a very good actor. Whether or not he is Elrond? First 2 episodes? But he's a very good actor. I will say that. I checked out the soundtrack. You're right on it. It sounded generic. Yes, that's what I got from it as well. These episodes are not living up to the 96 glowing review. No. The writing is way too on point. It's not on point as in it's way too agenda driven and down your throat. It's very kind of mechanical and what did I say earlier? Manufactured. This is a very manufactured show. At least the first 2 episodes were. It has dumb Marvel humor in it, like where you'll have like a moment that's very serious and one that you want to sit with and like enjoy this character moment, and then it pulls you out with like a really dumb joke. Like I didn't smirk. Like normally a Marvel movie will make me do like, you know, like a like the nostril exhale, but this show didn't even make me smirk. I was just sitting there like, that's what they went with. So it was, oh god, yeah. So the sound design was pretty rad. The sound design was very well done, I thought. When they are in the northern lands, Salty, thank you for showing up tonight and being here, brother. I greatly appreciate you coming to hang out, and we will talk about this tomorrow or Friday, because I really want to get your take on this as well. So, Night Salty, let's all say hail to him and good night. Ronan, TJ. I didn't really like young Ned Stark, but that might be my dislike for the character. Hey, understandable, dude. Like, because that's the thing. I don't know if I really saw him as Elrond, right? But I think I like him as an actor. Like, I can recognize that he has talent in his craft as an actor because he hits the right emotions. He hits the right timing with his lines. He hits the emotional points that you need to hit. But as Elrond, I don't know. Yeah. So lots of Marvel, well, not lots of Marvel humor, but you get those Marvel moments of humor. And Bronwyn can do no wrong. No one believes her, but she slays an orc all by herself. Her and her son Theo, I almost called him Neo, slay an orc by themselves. Just a massive, like, hole digging orc, because that's how they're getting from these different villages, is through like tunneling through the ground. And this like tunneling orc like crawls through the ground and starts like ripping up the entire house. And sure enough, Bronwyn and her son Theo are there, and they have to kill this orc or whatever. Bronwyn is a terrible mother, by the way. She like leaves Theo all the time. She's like never hanging out with him. Like they have no chemistry together. They don't feel like a mother and son. There's absolutely no chemistry whatsoever. I honestly had to remind myself, oh shit, he's like her son. Like there's no relationship there. Yeah, Bronwyn kills this orc, and then she fucking cuts its head off like Conan the goddamn Barbarian, and she takes the head of the orc to the village bar where all these old curmudgeon white men are. And she drops the head on the bar. And I fucking hated this scene because everyone in the theater laughed. And I was like, stop. Kill me now, please. Everyone thought it was so funny. So women empowerment. And she drops the orc head on the bar, on the bar table. And she goes, she's like, are you happy now? Or do you think that we need to leave now? We need to come with me if you think that we are not safe here. Or she says something that's like very Terminator-esque. Come with me if you want to live. And everyone goes, ha 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 ha. I'm like, what the fuck about that is funny? Like, that's so, it's so unrealistic. They'd be like, how did the orc get here? Where did you see it? How did you kill it? We have to start getting our provisions together and blah blah. And like, Bronwyn, are you okay? Like, how were you able to? Like, all these different questions that you're asking, but nope, they just go, the head of an orc is on my table. Yeah, sure, no questions asked here. Let's just do whatever she says. The choreography, yes, is very like. She has that like high flying moment where she's like Matrixy, like, oh, use my sword to slay the snow ice troll or whatever. But after that, like, I don't know, there honestly, man, there wasn't a lot of action. So I can't say that the choreography was good or not because I just didn't see a lot of it, unfortunately. Or if I did, it happened so quickly. There were so many like quick cuts that I just like didn't even get to see how it transpired, if that makes sense. To be fair, yeah, forced women empowerment is a funny idea. I don't think that the audience was laughing at the supposed idea that women empowerment was forced into the show. I think they were, because like what basically it was is, if you guys remember the scene from Avengers where Captain America is fighting all the aliens, and he goes, I need men in those buildings. You need to block off a perimeter to start, funneling these people. And the cops go, why should we believe you? And he like kills those aliens, like knocks them back, and then he throws the other one down, and he like stands there and he just looks at him. And the cop turns around and he goes, we need men in those buildings. I need a barricade over here. That's funny. And it's a lighthearted like moment of, oh, that's fun, Just another red shirt. Have a great night. Thank you for being here, brother. He says, I need sleep. Be seeing you. Take care, my friend. So he, where was I? So yeah, Cap does that, and people get a little bit of a laugh, a chuckle, and a lighthearted. But that's what they were trying to do here, and it just, for me, it fell super flat, because they were trying to do that same type of thing, where the town is in danger. They need to start taking action. What are they going to do it? Well, fucking Bronwyn brings in an orc head and drops it on the table. And that was another thing that was frustrating, is that the themes and like the tone, like tonally, the two first episodes are all over the fucking place. They are like extremely gory and like violent and brutal with like Galadriel and Bronwyn. But then the second they go to like the Harfoots, it's like playful and fun and like, this is for kids, right? And like at one point, the fat hobbit or the fat Harfoot falls into like mud. Like her face falls into mud. She does like a fall gag. And she like looks up and she's like, how charming, or something, like some dumb fucking line. I don't know. But she like, her face literally falls in mud. And everyone's like, oh, she fell. I was like, what show are we watching here? Are we watching Guy Ladriel kick ass and Bronwyn fucking decapitate orcs' heads off their bodies? Or are we watching a children's program where like they slip on a banana peel and they go, oh, that was funny. I seriously, tonally, this show, these first two episodes were like, goddamn, nowhere near what I would have expected for a Tolkien fantasy series. The things that really stick out though, are the unfortunate casting choice and the writing choice and the overall direction of Galadriel. It is so opposite of what I would ever expect to see as a strong female protagonist. She is arrogant. She's a Mary Sue. She's insufferably condescending to everyone. She fucks off half the time because she doesn't want to listen to authority, or she doesn't want to listen to the men in her lives or in her life. She's constantly trying to like prove herself to nobody. Like, everyone already sees that she's this fantastic, warrior and this woman who has already accomplished a lot, and yet everyone still doesn't like believe her, and she still is like trying to say like, without my sword, what am I, and all this stuff. And it's just like, dude, that's not who she is. She's not the she's not Conan the Barbarian of fucking Middle Earth. She is the queen. She's like one of the most noble, honorable, and like glowing, compassionate, and patient, and understanding, and yet stern and confident leaders that Middle Earth has ever seen. But she's always quick-tempered and angry, and it's so fucking frustrating to watch her make these decisions that are, like I said, quick-tempered. Like, everything is very just like, we have to fucking do this now. Like, kill him. We need to keep moving forward. My quest will never stop I will never sleep until his head is mine. And it's like, that's not who you are. You are so much more than that. And that's the thing, it degrades her character. This is an absolute degradation of the Galadriel that we know and love, right? So, it's very frustrating. It's very sad to see something like that happen to such a great and amazing character. But it's what we're gonna get. At least if it's any indication of what we're gonna get for the rest of the season from these first two episodes. We're going to see Galadriel just continually be angry and condescending and insufferable. She's the complete opposite of what Galadriel is supposed to be. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Did we do it? Did we survive? How long? We're an hour in, huh? Just about an hour in. Guys, I think unless you have any specific questions for me, I'm most likely going to call it a night. I know I've been ranting this whole time, and I just had to get out all my frustrations here and like just stream of consciousness, right? Just kind of throw this at the wall and see what sticks. But yeah, wow, what a nightmare. What a manufactured garbage dump. We were right. We were right this whole time. We were right all along. We'll continue to be right. If the show goes the way that it's supposed to go, like if these two episodes are an indication of what we're supposed to be seeing, fuck. You know. Zaxx says, we did it! We did it, boys! No. Oh, my God. It's like, it's such a success that it's a failure. Oh, well. No, thank you guys for being here. Yeah, I encourage you guys to make your own assumptions and come to your own conclusions. If you don't want to watch it, I completely understand, and I would encourage you to watch the reviews on YouTube so that you can kind of understand where it's how it plays out. No, dude, 70s Rock fan, thank you for being here and watching. Like I said, I know it was kind of a stream of consciousness video, but you know, as the days go on and the weeks go on, things will get more precise. The videos will get more what do you call it? Concise, and our points will be much more poignant. How we approach these things. Ozzy says, "Go man, we'll support you as long as it lasts." Thanks, dude. Wow, Ozzy, that's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll stick with the review streams and watch the show. Yeah, Thanks for taking one for the team, Max. Take a deep breath and a large drink. You know, Jay, I've got some whiskey in my kitchen over here. I think I might just do that. After watching She-Hulk and the first 2 episodes of She-Hulk and now the first 2 episodes of Rings of Power, whew, this YouTube thing is looking a lot more difficult than I first imagined. So the costumes, Rachel, that's a great question. I really wish I could focus more on the costumes. The dwarves, I think, had a good start. I think it's a good start for where the dwarves had for their costumes. The elves, I really like Elrond's robes. But there are little pieces of like jewelry on some of the other elves that I felt were like a little too, like they were trying to make too many details and it just looks busy. And it just looked almost like a theater production costume, if that makes sense. Great rant, Max. I'm going to stick with reading the books for the first time. Ben, do it, brother. You're going to love the books. So what I'm taking from this is Max loves the stunning and fully brave and stupid Galadriel. Ugh, Eric. Ugh, don't get me started, dude. That, for me, that was maybe, it was between her, Arondir, and Bronwyn as like worst of the worst. Bring your A game always, Max, and I can understand if you need to think about giving me a wrench. Tomorrow is busy, only tomorrow, if God allows. Rudy, I think I gave you a wrench, brother. Yeah, check in the chat. You've got a wrench, my friend, so you are there. Thank you for the review, Brave Soul, watching it on that giant screen. 300 mirrors, I didn't mind seeing it on the big screen. What I minded was the fact that I had to sit between 2 people that were just like, oh, it's so good. And I was like, oh, please just sit me next to anyone else other than these 2 people. So afterwards, actually, I asked the guy sitting next to me, because like I said, the younger guy who's like in his early 20s, he was like after the movie ended, he was like, wow, or the first 2 episodes. Oh, wow. So I stood up and I go, so you liked it, huh? And he was like, man, yes, I loved it. And I go, do you mind if I ask, like, what was your favorite part? Like, why you liked it so much? And it was just super casual, very calm. Like, do you mind if I ask you what you liked about it so much? And he's like, it was just, man, and I was like, yes, and can you name one fucking thing from these 2 episodes that you saw that you liked? And he just kept being like, man, it's just, and then he pulled the classic, like, I love all the Star Wars. So he goes, he says, oh, it just, like, it captured everything about Tolkien and the Silmarillion, and it had the themes and everything that I wanted to see. And I was like, they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion, so how would you get that impression from the show if, like, they didn't have anything from that? And he goes, I guess we're just gonna have to agree to disagree, right? And I go, sure, yeah. And then I told him, I said, I didn't feel anything like that. I didn't feel that there was 1 ounce of Tolkien in the show, and I felt that it was very manufactured, it was very soulless, and it didn't have any heart. And he goes, well, enjoy your night, man. I we'll agree to disagree. And I said, I'm really glad you liked it. I really am. I'm really glad you liked it. And as he was leaving, he goes, man, my friends are going to hate me. I'm going to be talking about this show for the next 7 weeks. And I was like, they probably are really going to fucking hate you, because that's not a good reaction whatsoever. I mean, that is so disingenuous. And like, I just couldn't imagine him being honest with that type of, and this is, by the way, this is the guy who's sitting next to me, that every time like Sauron came on the screen, or there was like a Lord of the Rings title, or even when they changed locations, like they would show the map and they'd show like them changing one location to the next, he'd be like, oh dude, oh my god. Really? Come on, man. Come on. My neighbors probably hate me right now because I've just been screaming. Let's see. What did I miss? She-Hulk and Rings of Power. Max, you're gluten for pain, ain't ya? Yes, sir. I love it. I love it. Okay, yeah, I get picky about costuming and makeup and details like that. Rachel, the makeup of the dwarves was fucking on point. The makeup looked really cool on the dwarves. The costuming I didn't really check as much. The costuming for the Harfoots is god awful. It looks like a homeless gypsy that just found themselves, that hasn't washed or taken a bath in years. It is disgusting. Every time the Harfoots came on screen, I wanted to wash my brain out with soap because it was so, or my eyes out with soap because it was so disgusting. I just didn't understand their choice with that. Smack dab in the middle of 2 seats and not the operator kind. A problem I have now resolved. Yeah, exactly. That's the worst. It was life-changing for him. I wonder if it really was life-changing for him or not. I don't think it was. I think it was a lot of manufactured emotions. Because, like, they put stuff in there that, like the soundtrack would boom at a certain point to make you feel something, right? So they would have, like pull something on the screen, and the soundtrack would boom, you know? And it was manufacturing your emotions to feel like, wow, oh my God, this is amazing. But if you can't effectively do that with your storytelling, then you're not going to be able to feel that with the emotional boom that you get from the soundtrack. So I don't know. I think a lot of it was fake. This is why we honor, love, and respect you, sir. Hail, thank you, Rudy. That's why I love and respect you, sir. Do yourself a favor after you're done here. Look up the review from the Daily Mail UK. It'll make your day. Oh, I really hope so. So he's just parroting all the shill reviews that say it's fantastic and never give any details. Exactly. Agree to disagree, man. Seal clap. Yeah. Love you were such a contrarian MVP. Just accept new cool thing. Brahmable, my man. I like that new avatar, by the way. Yeah, why can't I just accept the new thing? Why can't I just accept the new shit product that's given to me? Why can't I just say, yeah, I'll eat the slop that you've provided for me in this nice trough here. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you for the shit trough that you provided for me that I may now eat up and feel full from said product. But yes, Brahmable, it was a triumph. It was an absolute triumph. You know what? People who agree to disagree, sure. I think there is something to be said to someone who's able to kind of walk away and go, you know what? We're not going to agree here, so I'm just going to, take off. But I legitimately wanted to talk to him and be like, why the fuck did you, why were you having these reactions? Like, why did you ruin my viewing experience for me for the night? Great show tonight, Marine, carry on. Hail, Semper Fi, Rudy. The Harfoots were dirty and gross for basically no reason. Nice. They are what are considered like wanderers, I guess. So they, like, the end of the second episode, Nori Brandyfoot is getting ready to leave on their next like expedition because they go from place to place to place to place to place, and they continually move so that they're not seen. You know, they can't stay in one place for too long, or else someone might find them or see them while they're in their habitat. So they are travelers and wanderers, but in order for them to do that, they just kind of have to live off the land. And I would assume that that's why they made the creative decision to make them filthy and look like homeless gypsies. It's beyond me at this point. They react to it like it's the first motion picture, first show. Yeah, right, Ozzy? Like, I can understand that reaction if it's the first Lord of the Rings trilogy. Because when I was watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy in theaters, those were my genuine reactions. I was like, holy shit, when I first saw the Balrog. Or when the battle at Helm's Deep and Gandalf starts to make his descent into the battlefield with Éomer and the Rohirrim. Like, those are moments that make you go like, whoa, like, holy shit, this is cool, right? But yeah, there were things that he was just, yeah, I don't want to belabor the point. Hard to believe the Gypsy Harfoots turned into the clean, proper hobbits. Right, I don't see it. I don't get it. Don't go eating shite. You'll get the squints. Thank you, Nick. I will try not to eat the shite. One of the things I did notice that was kind of funny, there was no one I resonated with. There's not one character I resonate with. I mean, it's not really funny. It's more of just kind of an observation. But there was no one I resonated with. There's not one redeemable character in this entire show that I was like, wow, I really see myself in this person. And what's funny is that when I say that, it's not because there's no one that doesn't have my skin color. It's because there's no one with redeemable characteristics that I could attach myself to as like a noble or honorable protagonist. Like there's no one in the show for me that I could attach myself to say, wow, that really resonates with a struggle I once had, or a decision I had to make, or a challenge I had to face. Like there's no character that allows me to have that connection with, right? And I wonder if they did that on purpose. Maybe not on purpose, but like they did deliberately make Halbrand the action hero type looking figure, because he's the white male who's very handsome, good looking, has kind of the beard, stubble, 5 o'clock shadow with the long brown hair. He is like the classic hero trope, if you will. And they make him kind of this asshole. Like, you don't really get a lot of Halbrand, and when you do get him, he's just kind of a dick. So he doesn't really have very many redeeming qualities. You don't really get to understand who he really is. And that was what was so frustrating, is like, I don't understand Nori or her friend. I don't see myself in them. I can't see myself in Galadriel because she's a condescending, narcissistic bitch. I can't see myself in Elrond. Well, maybe Elrond. Holy shit, I forgot to tell you guys why Elrond and Durin don't like each other. I know I said I'm gonna end the stream, but this I have to tell you guys this. This is unbelievable. Let me get to these chats real quick. They sound like they may have just thrown them in there just to have hobbits, but they have no place. Exactly, 300 mirrors. That's 100% true. The easiest way to save money on clothing and details is make characters who are dirty and torn. Just saying. True, Rachel. Exactly. You just put some fucking rags on them, and there you go. You're a Harfoot. They went to all the trouble to have diverse members, and you couldn't identify with anyone? Legasp. That's the thing. You would think to have an incredibly diverse cast of people and races and genders and all types of different sexualities that anyone could feel represented. But guess what? You forgot one of the main demographics. Guys who look and act like me. But I don't think they want me as their demographic. I don't think they want me as their fan, which is why they could have done it on purpose. Is it a gay thing? No. It's better. It's better than that, Zaxx. You guys are going to love this. So you didn't see yourself in Galadriel then? No, I didn't see myself in Galadriel the Conqueror. Jay, unfortunately. So, yes, no, most of the men in this are trying to, they're very shrimpy, they're wimpy, and they're whiny, and they are distrusting of everyone, and yeah, they're cowards, essentially. So get this. Elrond and Durin have been friends for decades now, excuse me. So, Durin is the prince of Khazad-dûm at this point in time. Elrond goes to Khazad-dûm, like I said earlier, to talk to Durin about the forge that they want to create, and they need the help of the dwarves to do so. So he goes to the dwarven mine of Khazad-dûm, and he goes to the front gate, and he goes, I request to speak with Durin the Fourth, or whatever. And the guy just opens the gate, and he goes, nope, closes it, and that's that. And he goes, okay, well, I'm going to invoke this type of battle, or whatever. So they have this feats of strength thing, and they talk it out, and Durin, because Durin doesn't want Elrond in his home after they've been friends for this whole time. Max is sexy, toxic white male. Of course, he's not going to be represented here. Exactly, right? So, Elrond goes into Khazad-dûm, and he sees Durin again for the first time after like a few decades, and Durin is pissed at him. And we're still, as an audience, we don't know why yet. So they have this challenge between the two of them, and once Elrond loses the challenge, Durin says, "Now leave my home." He says, "Now that you've lost this challenge that you have invoked in my home, in my realm, you are banished from this home, and you will not come back." It's harsh. Durin is taking no prisoners, and he's telling Elrond outright, "I don't want you here. You are not welcome back in Khazad-dûm, and all elves from here on out will not be part of my home and my family." Why does he say this? Why is he upset at Elrond? Can anyone guess? Can anyone guess in the classroom? It's because Elrond didn't attend his wedding. Let that sink in for a second. Durin is so mad that Elrond didn't attend his wedding and the birth of his child that he takes a petty grudge against Elrond, the friend that he has had for decades, or centuries, I don't know how old they are. And he goes, "Leave my realm, and you are banished from it forthwith to never return, because you didn't come to my wedding, you bigot." Bruh. He acts like a whiny baby. Do you know how many weddings I haven't been able to go to? My best friends in the world, the man who I will most likely have at my wedding as my best man, I didn't even make it to his because I was deployed somewhere. Like, Elrond is fighting battles across Middle-earth, and Durin is upset because he couldn't make his goddamn wedding, bro. Like, what in the fuck type of narrative is that? What kind of storytelling is that? Like, it could have been anything other than that. Dwarves be catty as fuck. It was such an odd story choice to have Durin literally banish Elrond because he didn't like him anymore. So he's nothing to do with stolen Elvish jewels and the resulting slaughter. Exactly. Yeah. Nope. Nothing. No mention of that, Nick. No mention of that. At least not in the first 2 episodes. Maybe they bring it up later, but it wasn't in this episode. Or these 2 episodes. So then Durin goes, what do you have to say for yourself? And then you leave my home. And Elrond kind of like leans over. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Rachel. The literal, proportional response. The literal prince of Khazad-dûm, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, realms of Middle-earth, where these dwarves had dwelled in the mountain there. He has the audacity to fucking banish his best friend for not going to his wedding. With slaying predators in the Antarctic. Oh, damn, I was not supposed to tell. Yeah, Eric, don't tell anyone, dude. Come on. Oh, thank you for DJing, Rudy. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's extremely petty to think that Elrond has time to do that. Like, yeah, it'd be nice, but if he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. He's probably got some other grand things that he's probably doing in all of Middle-earth. So then Elrond leans over to him after Durin says, like, what do you have to say for yourself? And he goes, congratulations. And he says, I'm sorry that I was not there for the birth of your child and your wedding. And it was heartfelt. Not heartfelt as in a Seminole Order type of way. It was heartfelt because the actor is very good at his job. He is a very good and very capable and competent actor. And I enjoyed the dialogue there. But the dialogue of Durin saying, well, you didn't come to my wedding and you weren't there for the birth of my first 2 children. I was like, dude, please don't tell me this is why. Ugh. How did Amazon get every race so wrong? Seriously, you'd think that they get at least one character right by accident. No, not by... It was... Oh, God. Yeah, right? That's such a good point, Rachel. You would think that even if they were, like, throwing darts at a board, one of them has got to stick to something that's correct. Can princes banish people? Also, why does he have a regal... a regal number? Kings and queens have regal numbers, not princes and princesses. I don't know. That's a good question, Nick. If you watch the show, let me know what you think, because that's actually I'm not actually sure. I think maybe Durin the Fourth is his father, who is still alive at this time, which is the king. So I think Durin is just the Prince Durin, but Durin the Fourth is the actual king and his father. So sounds like a first world problem. This whole series is going to be first world problems, my friend. Soul Assassin, it's going to be just a bunch of modern nonsense imparted into a Tolkien show. Sounds like another showrunner writer insert to me. Maybe, Jay. I wonder if that is something that a showrunner experienced and was like, you didn't come to my wedding, so I'm going to banish you from my family. 32 flavors of Nick Weiser. Holy shit, we got a celebrity in here. Nick, dude, it's so good to see you, brother. He says, I'm so glad to not be watching this show. Monetize the fuck out of it, Max. I'm happy with Primal and New Beavis and Butthead. Yo, Primal is so good, my man. Primal is on fire. I'm so happy that you were watching Primal and Beavis and Butthead, because I would never wish this on my worst enemy, to have to watch and review these things. You know, and to be fair, Rachel says exactly, but no, they really went out of their way to purposely get everything wrong. Yeah, no, to be fair, and to be unbiased here for a moment, I had a more difficult time watching She-Hulk. She-Hulk infuriated me. She-Hulk infuriated the very core of my being, of my essence. Probably because I am a superhero guy at heart. I am also a massive fan of Tolkien and his works and his legendarium. However, She-Hulk was so wrong in every way possible. And it was like... Oh, we're having a little reunion in the chat here. Eric K and Nick Weiser and Zaxx all loving on each other. It's huge. But yeah, no, it's like I said, objectively, I think Lord of the Rings is probably directed and shot better. No. You know what? No, that objectively, yes, it is shot better. It is probably directed better than She-Hulk. She-Hulk is an like I said, everything is wrong with that show. Literally everything. There's not one thing that is redeemable from that show. Yes, it pisses me off too, Nick. Exactly. You've read her comics, and you are a huge fan, which I agree. John Byrne's run is like one of the best sources that we have of She-Hulk. So Galadriel's Jen from She-Hulk times 10. Yes, to less gay, Toodles K. Galadriel is Jennifer Walters. But Jennifer Walters is more snarky, and whereas... So yeah, Jennifer Walters is more snarky, and she's like more like condescending, and she has these little quirks where she like thinks that she's funny. Galadriel is just a straight up stone-faced bitch. Like, she is just like, peasant, get away from me. Don't unhand me, do not touch me. And like, everything about her is just so unappealing and unattractive. You just get so... It's aggravating to watch her on screen, unfortunately. She-Hulk should be amazing, but Tatiana is insufferable. That is the correct word I would use for Galadriel as well. Very, very insufferable, unfortunately. All right, friends. We are an hour and a half into the stream. If you guys have any more questions for me about the first 2 episodes, let me know. I can't believe I forgot that moment between Durin and Elrond, because I made a point to be like, okay, you have to mention this, because this is bad storytelling. You could come up with anything. You could have made anything. And I don't even, I don't know, and that's the unfortunate thing is like, I don't know Elrond enough from the Silmarillion to know if like there was a moment between him and Durin where they had a disagreement or something. I would have to go back and read it again because it's so, it's so dense. Like the Silmarillion is so heavy and dense that I need to go back and reread it again. And plus, you can't even really use anything from the Silmarillion because it's all from the appendices. So it's like, well, what's the fucking point? Well, everything's all made up. Everything's made up and the points don't matter. Like, whose line is it anyway? Soul Assassin, as much as I despise... Well, I don't despise her. I just think she is... Say what you will about Grace Randolph. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. All I'm saying is that in that sense, in that short clip it, that she said that she is a Karen and a Mary Sue at the same exact time, she nailed it. Guy Ladriel is the fucking berserker warrior, Conan the Barbarian conqueror of Middle-earth, and it's fucking unbelievably disgusting how wrong they got the character. Way too many insufferable women in 2022. Bye, Nick. Have a great night, dude. Take care. Jennifer's a guy's girl. She can hang with the boys, and it's all good. She also is a bit guy crazy, but it fits her. Jen also is the type that everyone loves her company. No, you're right, Nick. And we don't get that at all. Like, most guys hate being around her in the She-Hulk show, and she hates being around other guys unless they are there to pleasure her. You know what I mean? Like, as we're going to see later, she's going to be on Tinder looking for a man because she's now, like, strong and empowered or whatever. Yeah, I don't understand their choices with She-Hulk. I'm sorry you saw this, Max. Don't be sorry, Nick. This is our job, right? This is what we do. There's a bad bitch and there's a bitch. Jen from She-Hulk and Galadriel from Rings of Power are the latter. Sam, I would find it hard to disagree with you. We appreciate and respect what you bring to the table. Thank you. No, thank you, Rudy. Seriously, I appreciate you guys all being here. This was a very expensive fanfic. 100%. Hey, Nomi says, I just got here to your live stream. I'll take whatever word you'll say about the bogus Lord of the Rings. I'm going to skip it completely. Not a problem, Nomi. You're not missing out on a lot. But I will be here to tell you guys more about it whenever there is a moment for me to do so. Let's see. Everything's made up. The points don't matter. Exactly. Phil, what's up, Phil? You should have seen the Tolkien fans saying how Galadriel is more book accurate. Stop. I'm a normie and I know this shit ain't right. Oh my God, Nick, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Sergeant Herbs, what up, dude? He says, Max, did you resurrect from the dead after Rings of Power? That's the only explanation for you being alive and streaming. Dude, if you go back and watch like the first 30 minutes of this, I was on a rampage, dude. I was just like screaming and hands were flailing everywhere because it was just a stream of consciousness. I was just trying to get all the information out into the world because so much of this is just wrong. And of course I need to have a second and third and fourth viewing of this to fully and accurately understand the creative decisions that they made here. But like I said, upon first watching, like, this is not, it's everything that we were right about. Don't get me wrong there. Like, we have been right this whole time. But that's the sad part, right? Is that it's not Tolkien. That nothing about it feels like his works. I don't want to be awake, but here I am. Hello, everybody. Punk, go to sleep, dude. You don't have to be here. We're wrapping up anyway, brother. But thank you for saying hi. I appreciate you being here. So yeah, we'll call it a night there, guys. I love y'all so much. We're gonna keep doing stuff like this. I'm gonna make plenty of videos, talking about this stuff. We're in the end game now, boys. Like this is. We've got She-Hulk, House of Dragons, and Rings of Power all at the same time coming out in succession with each other. And I think these shows are going to be the proving ground of where we make a stand. where we draw swords together and we stand. So that just means there's a lot of people who haven't read the books, right? Yeah, exactly. So basically, Rings of Power is just steaming pile of shit. Roger that. Like I said, Sergeant Herbs, there are good things about it. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are objectively good things to praise about this show, whether it's like set pieces or cinematography. What creative decisions? Sounds like they cookie cuttered it. Like I said, yeah, I think some of the sound design, I think some of the set pieces, I think some of the acting, and I think some of the cinematography. If anything, I would say those things, if I could pick those apart, I would probably say those are some of the good things about this, the positives. So as I watched it, I wasn't sitting there like just like ripping my hair out. I wasn't like, oh, fuck everything about this. It wasn't to that extent. You know what I mean? There have been like She-Hulk. I was ripping my eyeballs out of my fucking head because I was like, I don't believe what I'm seeing right now. Whereas this was more of like an annoyance to be like, God, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between the two types of feelings of watching these shows. And I do think that Amazon has put so much money into this that there are just going to be better things than like She-Hulk, because when you have a $1 billion show, it's going to be very difficult, which, I mean, granted, they are pretty much doing, but it is going to be very difficult to have everything wrong. Whereas like She-Hulk, they didn't have a budget of $1 billion. So obviously they're going to have much more wrong with it that would make you like pull your hair out. But so there are people who put in good work. Yes. And that is what I believe. I think there are people who in this show objectively and individually probably did a very good job at their job. And for them, I praise you. But the overall show has no themes of Tolkien from these first two episodes from, like I said. Thanks again for the review. This was fun, and I appreciate you commenting on much of the show. Have a great night. Thank you, Rachel. Every Juan. Because you're smart. Great stream, Max, as usual. Enjoy the rest of your night. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, guys. No, seriously. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, we're going to do more of this stuff. We're going to have fun with this because obviously they have not taken the fans seriously. They have been condescending to us. They have preached to us for too long. They have tried to destroy this fandom. They've tried to divide us. They have tried to destroy this legendarium, this fantasy world. And for us as fans, we're not taking it anymore. We're not going to let this continue to happen. So this is the last bastion of hope. This is where we make a stand. This is where we light the beacons and we call for aid. And that's why these streams are going to be important, because we're going to do this. Hey, maybe it's every fucking Thursday night. Maybe it's every Friday night. I don't know. Whenever I can get on here and we can talk, that's what we're going to do. Because that's what's going to be important. Because as long as you guys don't have to watch some of this stuff, and as long as you guys don't have to pull out of your wallet your hard-earned money to give something to a company that hates you, I wouldn't want to make you guys do that, right? So, and I think it's important too that that I stay objective as well. I don't want to be so subjective that I'm just like, oh, everything fucking sucks. Because if I were to do that, no one would take me seriously. And I honestly don't believe everything sucks. I think that there are good things to pick out from the show. Not as a whole, because as a whole, we know that this show isn't meant for someone who is me. This show isn't meant for someone who looks like me, who thinks like me, who, all that stuff, who has a background like I do. So thank you for suffering through this. I'll go back and watch the whole thing later since I came in late. Well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. So watch the replay and enjoy. Definitely will rewatch the VOD and catch more live streams of yours. Thanks, Sergeant Herbs. Dude, it was great to meet you in Dallas. Thanks for being here live. I appreciate it, brother. All right, y'all. Have a great night. I know it's super late for everyone, so once again, I thank you guys for being here with me, staying so late and hanging out. We are going to be the last bastion of hope, my friends. stand with me and fight as we go through this time where we fight against those who are condescending towards us, who spit in our face, who try and take away the things that we love. We are not standing for it anymore. We are going to speak out about it, and we're going to talk about it right here, whether that's on Max's Man Cave or just the MVP channel. So thank you guys for being here. I will see y'all in the next stream. Have a great night. Reject modernity and embrace your legacy. Hail, and have a good night, everyone.